Hello.
Hi, sorry I'm late.
Oh, no worries. I was a couple minutes late too. Just getting off a meeting myself. Hi, Mira. So we have a couple folks in the
Oh,
call. I think we have one or two other people registered, but we're already a couple minutes late. So let's just get started. And share my screen here. Um, all right. So this is what are we in? Service provider training number 1. And in this session, now I've recently changed up the outline for this session. Um, so let me start there, okay? Because my thought was here, let me get to the right page. So we used to have 2 end user sessions and then 2 service provider sessions. Now we just have one. So I am asking or, recommending that everyone do go through the end user courses, these 2 sessions here. And if you've not sat through them yet, no worries. You could still sit in on this session. But what we cover in this end user training is just like basics on the tool's interface and how to use the tool and whether you're a service provider managing compliance or an end user managing compliance, the ability to add a user or add a document or create a poem item is the same for everyone. So we ask that you attend that session so you can just learn like the basics of how to use the tool. And then this session here, I'm going to cover in this 50 minutes, I'm going to cover a couple tools or additional uh, add-ons, capabilities that we have for our service provider partners so that you can use to manage multiple compliance packages. So once you learn basics on how to use FutureFeed for compliance management over here, then I'm gonna, in this session, show you a couple tools that can help you even more. But like I said, if you haven't sat through these yet, no worries. I'm just calling it out now because I do recommend that after this session, you go sign up for this first one here. Um, how I got there, which I'm sure you guys know, but I'm logged into FutureFeed here. No matter what page you're in, just scroll down to the bottom and we have a FutureFeed training link here. This is where you can click to get registered for that training. Okay, and then just to want to point out, we're still trying to push and up our level of attendance with our weekly open office hours. It's a really good 30-minute session every week where we just talk about FutureFeed and how to use FutureFeed, issues, questions about FutureFeed, and then we often talk about the requirements and how to get them implemented and CMMC and all that fun stuff. So if you're interested, just register once, then it's going to be on your calendar every week. Thursday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. You can just join the weeks that you have questions, uh, but you don't have to join every session. Okay, so with that being said, let's see here. Give me a second. Okay, so it's just us 3 still, so that's great. I like a smaller session. Uh, are either of you comfortable with sharing, maybe just kind of maybe so I can like gauge my level of like talking about the tool, how experienced you are with the tool? Have you used it a lot or are you just getting started with it?
I myself am just getting started with it.
Okay.
Same here.
Okay.
First time using the tool.
Okay. All right. Well, this is a good time to learn about these 2 tools that I'm going to show you today then. Um, because if you're just getting started with FutureFeed, I'm assuming you're going to try to set up FutureFeed in a way that you can manage multiple clients' environments, correct? So these 2 tools will help with that. And then you can get started on the right foot instead of having to do a bunch of back, redo some stuff. So the first thing here is, let me log in quickly. So have either of you attended the end user training?
No, I'm actually a recent hire at a MSP company, and they use it for their clients, so this is why I'm here. But I haven't
Sure.
used it any user as of yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I was scheduled for it for this Tuesday actually, but I ended up having a high priority client have some issues that I had to respond to and wasn't able to make it to the meeting.
Okay. No worries. All right. Well, it's still just us two. So then I'll just kind of include some of that basic user stuff talk in here. There's no problem. All right. So um, then I should start by letting you both know that in FutureFeed, all users of FutureFeed have access to FutureFeed templates, and how they get there is in the documents area. There's two ways to get to a template. Um, the first way is this populate button here. This first package, FutureFeed template package, this is the set of document templates FutureFeed provides and is available to all FutureFeed users. There's 50, I guess 36 of them available, or maybe 57. That's how many I'm using. So there's 57 available. Um, and so right now it's not selected. Here's what they look like. We have a decent amount. Access control plans, policies, procedures, risk assessment stuff, acceptable use, change management, clean desk. So it's not going to cover everything. We don't advertise future feed it. We don't do consulting ourselves. And if a future feed user does want to use one of these templates, we don't provide consulting on how to fill out the template or anything like that. It's purely if you want to use it, make a copy, download it, and then modify it yourself. So, um, it's not like if one of our clients filled out every one of these policies, they're gonna meet all NIST 800-171 requirements or the documentation side of the requirements, okay? I just wanted to be clear with that. I actually had that question earlier. Someone thought that they could fill out all these documents and then be good to go. I was like, nope. But why I'm showing you this, and I cover, future feed templates and how to get access to them and how to use them in the end user training. But why I'm showing you guys this is because for our service providers, we give you guys this ability to have your own document template. And what that looks like, it's going to look exactly like this. So I'll show you the back end administrative view that I have. Let's see. So that's what this looks like. Um, and this has been around. This document library feature has been around for some time, but we haven't done a great job of telling our clients about it. So, uh, for I know you mentioned you are a recent hire and they have been using this tool. They themselves may not know about this document library feature. It doesn't cost anything extra. I'm not trying to sell you anything. So once you get started at your company, maybe if you don't hear anything about a document library, ask them if they're using it. And if they're not, they may want to reach out to us so they can start using it. Like I said, it's no cost. If you want to start using this for your company, then you would email support@futurefeed.co and request a document library for your own company, and they will initiate that process. So then you would have a couple people at your company responsible for managing this document library and managing the templates and the documents themselves. And they would probably be the ones to have access to this interface that I'm showing you here. So you would have the ability to upload as many documents as you want, and you can see you can categorize them into all of the future feed document categories. After you upload a document, then um, let's do this one here. This first one, so this is the policy, and what is it? I'm on a small screen right now, so this I have to go over. Our awesome access. Oh, it's an access control policy. This first one here. Uh to add a policy, you just hit add, title it, categorize it, and then it will show up like this as a row. Then you would click on the revision and publish, create your first version. So here we're already on, looks like version 1 is the one published, but we have, oops, I messed it up. But we do have a version 2 in the works. So how you would add your document is by clicking the pencil icon, and it's looks like a document editor. Oh, what a lovely access control policy. Um, I don't know whose dog that is. That's awesome. So yeah, here's, you'd post your document here, your template, and then create that version and give it a title, version 2, 3, 4. Sorry. And then you can control which one is published right here. So let's delete that version. And then something you can do is you can make these documents view only or editable. So back into FutureFeed, how your customers and your clients are gonna see this um, looks like this. So in FutureFeed, let's pretend that this FutureFeed template package here was your company's template package. Okay. So you would have a listing of your documents like this, and they can be templates, or they could also be, other documents that you typically provide to all of your customers. Maybe, for example, I'm sure you guys give all of your customers a customer responsibility matrix, or you give them all some sort of service agreement, service catalog, that type of documentation where you don't want them to download it and edit it. I don't know why that's so hard to say. But you want them just to view it, right? And you want them to have it because it's a piece of evidence that they need for their assessment. So this document library feature, I know we're mostly talking about providing templates, but think of it as a way to also provide just any evidence that your company may need to provide to every one of your clients in a controlled way. For example, if your company provides incident response capability, I'm guessing that your company probably has a incident response plan or some incident response procedures they follow for each client. So during an assessment, one of your clients during their assessment, when they get evaluated for incident response, they're going to look to you and say, hey, we pay these guys to do incident response. So we follow and utilize their incident response plan with, a couple other documents. So that's called inheritance. And during your client's assessment, you're going to have to provide that latest and greatest incident response plan. You potentially could be asked to provide it. That's not outside the realm of not authorized or anything. They may not ask for it, but they may. So if you wanted to provide documents like that to your clients, you could, and then make it view only. They would just be listed like this, and then your company or your clients will have two options. They can copy the document, or they can link to it. Okay. So copying it means they're just going to make a copy, download a local copy, and now they can edit that document and get it approved, do whatever they want with it. If they link to your master document, then whenever you make a change to your master document, your client's document is also going to change. Okay. So let's talk about that incident response plan. Uh, Incident response plans are typically reviewed annually, or they get updated throughout the year when there's personnel changes or different reporting requirements, stuff like that. An incident response plan will get updated at some point in its life cycle. And so instead of having to, if you update your incident response plan, instead of having to contact all of your clients and email them the new incident response plan or provide it during the assessment or wait till it gets requested, you could just make that update in your document library, go in here under your plans and um, publish your new version like we just did with that policy. Just publish that new version, add that new version and publish it. And then if your clients, if you tell them to link to that CRM or that document, whenever you update the master, their version is going to get archived and they will get the updated master document. So that's copy versus link. Um, that would have been helpful about 2 years ago for me when I was doing consulting for a MSP, MSSP, and I had 21 clients and we were updating the master policy template. So when we made a change to the master policy template, we had to go into all 21 active clients' environments and go update their Word version, SSP, and all that stuff. So um, that whole link and keeping things current capability can come in clutch when you're doing consulting. All right, so that's copy versus link. And then one thing also that you can do is you can force your clients to have a document. So over here, this universal required checkbox here, essentially, if one of these is checked, then when your clients log into their environment, they don't even have to go to the populate area. They don't have to create that new document item. It's just going to be listed down here in their documents. It will already be created and it'll be listed there. Okay, so you can even like force documents to all your users. Maybe your standard set of documents that every client gets, just have it be part of their FutureFeed environment package from the get-go, right? And then you can control the control linkings, of course, delete, do all that management stuff. You can control the clients that have access to your document library. So for example, if you provide your own company specific CMMC templates and one client purchases that documentation toolkit service, you would give them access, but client B doesn't want that. They have their own documents, then don't give them access. You can control who you have access, which of your clients have access to this library. Down here under summary notes,
How do
in the
you how do you do that? Just
um,
curious.
it's not in this interface. It's in the other. When you set up your client's environment, and you're configuring their environment, giving it a name and all that stuff, you would set it up there in that administrative interface. I
Okay.
don't have access to that. I don't have that level of permission, so I can't show you that, but that's when it would get set up. When your FutureFeed admin or when you guys make that environment for that client, you would set that connection. Um, and then another thing, so the document library is not just only great for documents. You can do a couple other things in here under the summary notes. So, um, let's do least privilege. We'll do 315. Okay, so in here, I can add summary notes, which since you're not super familiar with FutureFeed yet, I'll go show you where that is. So under the requirements area, zoom in a little bit, under each control requirement or controller requirement, you have an area called summary notes. So this is where you're defining how that requirement is being implemented. And you can have templated summary notes. So like when I was doing consulting, I and this was we didn't have any tools like this. So every client had a Word document SSP. It was a lot. But um I found myself writing and addressing the compliance in a very similar way every time. If I'm working with this client, they're going to implement and they're Microsoft 365, their implementation of the requirements is going to be is similar to someone else with Microsoft 365 and a GCC high environment, and this person with Microsoft 365 GCC high environment is going to have a very similar implementation as this person. So I started creating templates and saving my different write-ups until I developed one solid template that addressed everything and was well written. If you guys happen to have those templated implementation narratives or template, implementation plans, anything like that, you can add them in the summary notes area for your and then control them for all of your clients. So we'll do this 315. And I think I have a document open for this. Yes, I'll do this one. Let me pull this real quick. Okay. So here's a 315 templated narrative. The company has implemented 315, right? That's everybody's goal. So that's going to be applicable to everybody. Um, the company has implemented AC 315. The principle of least privilege is applied to all users, processes, and devices in the environment. At a high level, the company has implemented at the network layer, system layer, and application layer. They've implemented some technical stuff to help control this, right? Permissions and roles and ACLs. And then the company has also implemented some administrative processes. So they have a document that defines roles and privileges, and they have an access request process where access is requested and the level of access is requested. And if you have the need to know, or you're in the right role, or you have the right responsibilities, then you can get that level of access, right? So, I mean, these things that you're seeing here are very like generic, not system specific statements that are very commonly it's just things that commonly get implemented when you are working with these requirements. So if your company has a templated narrative like this, where you fill it out, you're going to help each client tailor it and fill it out. Then you would you can add them here, and then I'm going to hit publish. Okay. Then you'll have to control who you push that update to. So I'm just gonna push that update to myself. All right. Now, when your user then logs into their FutureFeed environment, if I go to 315, this then is populated. So here is that populated template. Okay. So using this control or this summary notes area, you can have that summary notes area filled out for every client that you bring on board, and then you would just help that client, tailor that and be specific to their environment. That's the summary notes. And then the last thing you can do in here is these guidance. So every requirement has I'm in the 315 control, and there's this guidance icon. So
Before you move forward, from here, how do you get to the summary notes? Like not this page, but the back end of the summary notes.
from
The
here,
template.
you can't just being logged in as a FutureFeed user, you can't.
Okay.
Once you guys set up your own document library, then you'll get a URL to the back end. You'll log in there.
Oh,
So
okay,
you
got it.
can't, it's a separate URL. You won't be able to like click a button in FutureFeed to get there.
Okay.
And so every requirement has these guidance. So here 315, I'm opening up the guidance, and this is all 315 specific guidance. And what you can have is your own. So you see right now there's just 4 tabs. And now if I go over into my management console or management interface, I'm going to guidance for 315. Now this is where you would put like me personally, the things that I repeat and I say to every client, I would put here. So this is where your company has the opportunity to provide uh, just some more guidance for your users, some more company specific or service specific guidance or consultation. So things that you end up telling every user about could go here. So here, I'll just put test, 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 and then publish. Now, if I go back to well, actually, I have to go down here and push this quick. Oh, I guess not. So if I go back to 315 and hit refresh, I should now see in the guidance tab, yep, that 5th tab here for my company. It would be your company's name, and then there's that additional guidance. And you could put URLs in here and links too. So if you have company intranet or SharePoints, links that you're giving to clients, all that stuff, put them in here. Um, all right, that's everything I have to show you about the document library feature. Again, it's the ability for service providers to have a FutureFeed document library, and you could control all of the clients that have access to your document library and then provide them and centrally manage templates and other evidence and other documentation like that. It's also where you can control your templated summary notes and add some company specific guidance to all of the requirements. This document library feature is free. And again, when you're logged in as a regular user, what they will see is in the document area, they'll be able to pull up and access your document library and look through and select which documents they want to use or they need to use for their environment. Okay, any questions with this document library feature before I go on to the next thing?
I don't have any so far, thank you.
Mhm. All right, and so the next feature I want to talk to you about is what we call the template subscription. And if you're already subscribed to this, awesome. But if you're not, just reach out to support@futurefeed.co if you're interested. This one, though, does come at a price. Okay, it's a little add-on price, and that's because you're purchasing a blank FutureFeed environment. And you're purchasing that blank environment for the purpose of kind of setting up the perfect future feed environment. So that way, every client you bring on board, what you'll do is you'll copy that environment. You'll make a copy of that blank environment that you set up to be perfect. You'll make a copy of that and clone it, rename it to the new client. And now, when that new client of yours logs into FutureFeed, their FutureFeed environment is going to be filled out with, or it's going to be pre-filled out with whatever you had wanted to be filled out in that template subscription environment. Does that make sense?
I have a quick question.
Mhm.
So the other version that we saw before where we were like actually in the company, like one of our company's portals, that one is if you know, as an MSP partner, if we were to sell FutureFeed to another company, then they would show up in that portal, and then us as their provider, we would be able to manage all that information. And then this one is it's called like the cloney template or like the service provider something, right? Like they're separate.
Yep. The thing I was just showing you, that document library,
Yeah.
is um yeah, what'd you say? You said so it's not shoot, I don't know. I guess I'm not really clear on your question. Can you state again the first part?
Yeah, so I'm just trying to figure out because um so we had purchased FutureFeed for ourselves as an
Mhm.
MSP, and then we also became a FutureFeed partner so that we can sell FutureFeed to our customers and be able to manage their documents.
Mhm.
So I just want to make sure that what you were showing before with the document library and everything, will we still have access to that without purchasing the additional cloning template page?
Yes. So the and I'm like unable to get back in there right now. I'm so sorry. Here's
It's okay.
it's not the exact same one I was in. This is actually the future feed one that you see right here. So let me go back here. This future feed template here, this 57. This is what I'm in right now. And so uh right, this is free. The
Okay.
ability to create your own company specific documentation package like this, so
Hmm.
all of your users can click on it and get access to anything you housed up there, uh,
Yeah.
free. But
Okay.
it's not automatically given. So if you want to use it, you will have to ask, and then they'll set you up.
Okay.
They'll set this up for you. Yeah. And you do not have to be using this, or yeah, be using this to use the other thing I'm gonna show you. That's separate. There's no dependencies, but that this next thing we're gonna talk about does come at a cost.
Okay. And that the next thing, that's like the service provider template, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank
And
you so
so
much.
yeah. And so but when you bring your clients on board, see, when I log into FutureFeed, I see all 6 of these packages. So think
Yeah.
of these as 6 clients.
Hmm.
I'm consulting with 6 clients, so I have access to their environment. And I'm only gonna see them here, um, if I have access. If you don't have access, you won't even see them.
Okay.
So then you just click into the client you're working with. So think of being able to build out one of these and then use that as the starting point for every client
Yep.
you bring on board. And then the things you would want, how you would want to fill it out is all of that inheritance, right?
Hmm.
Um, so anything that every client of yours is going to need. For example, if you are doing that incident response service, then under the assess requirements, you would go into the incident response requirements, and then you would have them marked as either, you know, partially inherited or fully inherited, whatever aligns with your customer responsibility matrix. And you would have that inheritance actually defined in FutureFeed instead of just in a CRM. So
Gotcha.
not only would you can mark things inherited, but you can have like the reason you're saying they're inherited spelled out in the summary notes or the objective statements. Really just think about anything that you can do in future feed, add documents, define tools, define teams, people, roles, define implementation methods, create poems, all these things that you can do in future feed. You could do it in this template environment, and then it would be the starting point. So tools, if you guys are performing vulnerability scanning for all of your clients, then go ahead and log the vulnerability scanning tool that you use, because that is an asset that's going to be part of your client's environment. That vulnerability scanning tool and the capability is going to be evaluated under their environment. So go ahead and add it. And then under the responsibility and accountability, assign your guys' team or your guys' role or company, and then link it to your CRM. And then under the documents, of course, you could upload your CRM in here so every client has it. Yeah, so that's, I mean, I don't have too much else to like deep dive into that. We can talk about certain situations and how you would lay out and develop, design this template subscription if you guys have specific scenarios that you want to work through. But yeah, do you guys have any questions about that?
I do. Can you just like go through each of them? Like I never seen this screen before. Like I don't know what it does, but like as you was just doing like tools,
Mhm.
um, showing like where we can do like artifact gathering and stuff like that. Could you walk us through
Well,
that?
so that's what I cover in the end user training, and I
Oh,
won't
okay.
have enough time to cover it now. So I recommend going to that, but would you actually be interested in, I can give you two links right now to like a training I did last month. It's still applicable, but then you can watch the training on your own, which I cover. It's 2 hours total, and then I cover
Is
everything.
that the same as
I
the
go
end
over
user?
all of the interface and all of the capabilities.
Okay, yeah. Could you provide me that? And I'm still gonna do the end user, but I just need to
Okay.
know how it works.
Yeah, yeah. So give me a second here. I will get those for you right now. And you can join as many of the end user training sessions as you want. Okay, some folks, they're just getting started with the tool, and so when they're sitting in that training, they don't really have any questions, right? Because they don't even know how, they're still learning to do things. And then once they actually start having to do the work in the tool, then they'll have questions, right? So you could sign up since you're new to future feed, sign up just, or maybe listen to these recordings in the background. But then once you really get working in the tool and like hands on, you might want to sign up again just so you can get some refresher. Or it's a live session, right? So you can uh, then in those future sessions, just, ask a bunch of questions. I can't, I guess I can't put a message in this chat. So what I'll do after this is, hold on one second. Let me see if I can hit message. All right, there's one link, and there's two links. So let me know if you can see that in the chat, please.
Yes, I can see.
All right,
Um,
you might want to copy them down, because if I end the meeting, I don't know if they'll disappear. But so those are just live training sessions that I did maybe a month and a half ago. Every session like this one here is being recorded. And so I just downloaded them for folks who want to watch them on their own. But then do sign up for the real session if you have some questions. Um, all right. Any other questions? Okay. Well, thanks for your time and good luck. Reach out if you have any other questions, or I'll see you in some future training.
All right. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Have a
You're
great
welcome.
day.
Have a good afternoon. Bye.
Bye.